A Guide to Large Reef Aquariums, Episode 2.
We're talking RODI systems and water storage vats for large aquariums.
RODI units, which is reverse osmosis deionized, is very important for a saltwater aquarium. I highly recommend them for any aquarium 60 gallons and larger, just because it's more cost effective than trying to get it from your local fish store or carry it in buckets. Here we have the AquaFX Mako 100 gallon per day RODI unit. So what is an RODI unit is the biggest question most people have when they first get into a larger aquarium. So this is actually going to take your tap water and purify it down to a basic uncharged water molecule. For an RODI unit, the first thing is you're going to have your tap water coming into your unit over here. First cartridge that it's going to go through is a sediment cartridge. This is actually going to remove any larger particles in your tap water, any kind of sediments, larger chunks of stuff. It's going to clean out all of that. From here, it's going to go over to carbon block. This is a much larger unit. Usually you're going to have one sediment, one carbon. The carbon is going to take out impurities and also chlorines and things that are in your tap water. From the carbon, the water is then going to go up to the membrane. The membrane does most of the work of the unit. This is going to pull out almost all of the dissolved solids and other impurities in the water. This is actually going to take it to what we call total dissolved solids of usually 10 or less. And that's going to then, from the membrane, you're going to have your wastewater line, and that's the water that you're not going to use. That's going to go down your drain, or you can actually reuse it for other purposes. And then your good water from the membrane is going to come over to your DI cartridges. DI cartridges are going to finish the job. So the membrane is taking the dissolved solids down to say 10 or less, and then the DI resin is going to take that all the way down to 0. What comes out of the unit is a deionized or uncharged water molecule completely free of any impurities. One piece of equipment that I find very important if you're going to have an RODI unit is a dual inline TDS meter. This is going to let you know if your cartridges are still performing correctly or if they need to be changed. This one here does come pre-installed with one of them attached to the membrane, which is going to measure the good water coming out of the membrane. This will let you know when it's time for this to be changed. The other one is not installed anywhere. I prefer to put this at the very end where your good water is coming out that you're using, because this is going to let you know whenever your DI cartridges need to be changed. All you have to do is cut the line and insert that right in there. Right now we have the wastewater line coming down into the drain of the sink. We are going to set up a saddle drain valve to where it ties directly into the main drain of the sink. From there, we've got the good water going through the DI units, and it's going directly to our water vats here. All right, now that we have some water actually in our water vat, I'm going to show you how we have this plumbed and how it all works together. So this one here is our freshwater vat, and then here we have salt water. Both of our vats we have plumbed to have a spout that you can actually use and fill buckets with. For that, all you would have to do is open your one ball valve and fill your buckets with either fresh or salt as needed. So what we've done is actually made it to where you can pump fresh water over to the saltwater vat for mixing. And here we've got our pump. We use a Vectra as our central pump to run this whole thing. We're going to move over some fresh water over to salt. We're going to open up this ball valve. This is going to let the water flow over to the pump, and up the pump is going to go here through this and into the saltwater vat. All right, so now we have the fresh water pumping over into the saltwater vat, and we can through the top add the amount of salt needed for the fresh water you are moving over. Now that we have the amount of fresh water over in the saltwater vat that we need, we're going to go ahead and turn the pump off and close this valve so no more fresh water is going over. Now we're going to use the same pump to actually close loop circulate the saltwater vat and mix the salt. From here we're opening this ball valve. Same thing, it's traveling up through this pump and it's going to basically just circulate until your salt is mixed. Turning pump back on. All right, now we've mixed our salt water, and what we've made is actually an output here that you can attach a hose to. We use the Python hose. You could use really anything with the proper fitting. And in order to do that, you're gonna leave this valve open, and you're gonna actually close this one, because what they'll do is pump is taking the water this way, bring it up, but you want it to come out this pipe, not recirculate through. So we would close this, then you would open this with a hose attached and turn your pump on.
So I can't stress enough how important it is to consider having a water storage system like this. It's going to make your life so much easier, especially when you're trying to keep a large reef aquarium.